You're looking for a beautiful side table for your sofa or your Adirondack chair? It should be a modern design, made from precious wood, easy to build but elegant in appearance. In this case, stop searching, you found what you're looking for. Because in this video I will show you how to design and build this beautiful side table. Built out of only one board of walnut wood and half a board of white oak. The design is simple, modern and elegant, and because of this, easy to build. All you need are some hand tools, some space in your garage, some passion, and continue watching. Stay with me. From this to this. That is all it needs to build a nice side table for your sofa or Adirondack chair. 2 boards of wood, some dowels, glue, a little bit of hard wax oil and some hand tools. That is all. We are Mission Wood and walk you through this build, step by step. Let's start with your list of requirements. If you're building the table mainly for fun doing woodworking, or for a client, the table would probably look different to the one you actually need for yourself. In my case, I use my Adirondack chairs out of the previous videos inside the house, and therefore have a pretty detailed wish list beside just the need for a little bit more space to put something on. And I'm not the only one who lives in these chairs and have similar needs. Look at my hardware key user. My indoor furniture are more modern with dark wood, so I would like to bridge the gap between the classic chair and the rest of my furniture. The table should be modern with classic design elements from the chair, oak like the chair should be in, and some dark wood similar to some of my other furniture too. Let's see if I can find some ideas online. Okay, I give up. I need to design my own table. Just exactly tailor-made for my own wish list. So let's again grab some paper and develop some ideas. I did not have a specific design in mind, so for me it took quite a while to draw some sketches and decide about the best one and optimize it further. One design was too classic, the other too complicated, the third was right, and that can go on for a while, but I always enjoy the process of creation. That is one of the most satisfying parts of the process. Okay, this is now the winning idea. Tabletop consists of 2 circles with 2 different diameters. The leg is out of the same walnut like the tabletop, and the feet are in X configuration, similar to the design of the legs of the Adirondack chair, and out of the same walnut board. Adding dimensions to the design and putting it into CAD is my way, making sure everything is like I want to have it just before the actual handcrafting. CAD helps bringing your ideas into the correct perspective. For the table, the foot turned out to be far too massive, so I used CAD to sketch all in all 3 alternatives. The second turned out to be my choice. You want to have a look at the 3 alternatives and the winning version? So let's realize it and do some woodworking. But before we need the wood, let's go and look for something fancy in the woodshop. Stop! Let's assume the wood is already there. And we did that already several times in my last videos. So no need to do it again together. But let's have a look at the boards instead. The tabletop and the legs will be made out of this walnut wood. The grain is in motion and colorful, just the perfect choice for tabletop. I will try to bring the brighter edges of the board to both edges of the tabletop. The feet will be made out of white oak. Its grain is straight and regular in order not to overload the overall picture of the table. Like that, the feet will be the calm and quiet pieces of the furniture, also making contact to the Adirondack chair next to it. So let's get it started and do some sewing. I will again expedite and show you the result of the rough cut. Wait some seconds. Like always, cutting the boards into smaller pieces is where it all begins. I will expedite and show you the result after the pre and final cut. Alright, forgot to mention, I will build up two pre-assemblies within the actual cutting. These are the panels for the tabletop and the leg pre-assembly. Both consist of two single pieces. Here you see both the tabletop and the leg pre-assembly. Quite satisfying to review the parts after curing overnight with some good morning coffee in the warm sun. Let's go for the next part. Next are the oak parts cutting out of the boards. I will expedite again. Here you see the result of the pre-cutting. In fact, there are not many parts that make off the table. Next is rounding off the few parts that have round edges with the router and the routing templates. These parts are basically the 3 feet of the table. All other parts will have chamfers. All parts are prepared. You just saw routing the edges and standing in 2 stages, 150 and 320. Before, just after cutting of the walnut boards, I glued the tabletop and the legs together. Both consist of 2 single parts, and proper fitment of single parts is really important before gluing. Now the parts are ready for assembly and look like this. Edge routing is a little bit tricky in this case. Not all corners should be round in order to leave the areas where 2 parts connect in a rectangular shape. For the lower and the upper cross, the support and the foot area, I will use a certain assembly sequence in order to have the table leveled out perfectly. First, I will connect the long foot and support to the leg, making sure that the parts are perfectly rectangular. Then I will connect the short foot and support to the assembly using 1 or 2 screws as a kind of clamping aid, because using a regular clamp on this kind of geometry is not possible. Finally, the remaining foot and support will be connected to the leg with just a dowel connection to the leg. All connections are realized with dowel glue connections. I will expedite until the basic edge is assembled and show you the further steps with the parts in hand. no idea why he's calling it the basic H assembly. The short foot will be attached with dowels. The screws will provide tightness to the connection during glue drying, as well as providing strength. The other foot will be attached to the leg directly, as there's enough surface for the connection. It will also hide the head of the screws. If you would have a better idea for the connection, please let us know in the comments below. In any case, you will see these steps in time-lapse now. Okay, that's already pretty, but some mistakes happened. Look at that, the foot wobbles. I adjusted the assembly to the workbench, but in one of the directions and spots that I did not measure, the panel I use as workbench is not straight. So what is next? Something is missing besides the straightness of the leg. Yes, the tabletop. I did not buy it in this condition. During the pre-cutting, I cut two smaller board pieces and glued them together. And if you're wondering now, where's the connection line? Yes, there are some tips to make them invisible. First, you need to look at the grain direction and the color in detail, and plan the cut and the assembly accordingly. Color and grain direction at the connection line need to match perfectly. Then, the cut of both halves need to match perfectly. That might not be a challenge with a professional table saw, but with a small track saw, it is. The saws always have an angular tolerance in the cut that cannot be avoided. The trick is to cut the first half from the top and the other half of the tabletop from the bottom. The angular deviation is exaggerated, but here you see that the deviation is equalizing themselves as a pair. The straightness of the cut is guaranteed by the track of the saw, at least as long as the saw is adjusted properly. Okay, after that trick, let's proceed with sanding the surface of the tabletop and already having the equipment in hand, also leveling out the misaligned wobbling foot. The surface of the walnut board is already looking really good. So far so good. Next is cutting the outside round shape of the tabletop. My next step is again contributed to my limited access to my own good tools. Without having a good router, stationary sander or bandsaw, I need to help myself by using my small edge router together with a template out of an MDF panel. Follow me through its making, marking with the chord pencil method, cutting, sanding and surface sealing. Okay, that went really well. I just finished the cutting and the routing of the tabletop by using the template. The challenge was using only my little tiny edge router for the round shape of the massive hardwood board. The trick was to pre-cut the board with the track saw as close to the final cutting line as possible. Therefore, I marked the second line to the board with an offset of 1 mm and cut in facets with the track saw. Routing was then only rounding up the facets and a little more, routing in 2 depth stages. Conclusion: there's always a way around, and ingenuity can substitute a big workshop. Last major step is attaching the tabletop to the leg. Keep on watching. Okay, we are nearly done, but 2 small steps are still missing. Final sanding and oiling. For me, those steps are the ones that I enjoy most, so please join me. Mission completed. I hope you enjoyed this video and found some inspiration for your own build, and maybe the one or the other trick that you did not know so far. And if you liked it, please give me a thumb up, and maybe you'd like to subscribe too.